guys, today we're checking out the Diamond Edition 60th Anniversary Shelby Cobra from Classic Recreations. This is a carbon fiber 900 horsepower monster, and today we have Sean here to help us walk it through it. So Sean, what are we looking at here?
All right, this is the prototype for our 60th Anniversary carbon fiber Shelby model. We are only building 10 of these cars, all Shelby serialized. This is a clean sheet design from the ground up. First time in 60 years that the Cobra has truly been re-engineered, reimagined, using the inspiration of what Carroll would have done if he had the technology that we have today, such as carbon fiber, forced induction, fuel injection systems, CAD designed chassis. I mean, this is a machine.
Yeah, so one of the most important things I think to talk about, which is a huge change, is the carbon fiber body, right?
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, obviously everybody wants to know how much does it weigh, how long does it take to construct, how do you get the weave to match, all that type of stuff.
Exactly. We're very well known for our carbon fiber Mustangs. We've been building them for several years. We have a wonderful partner in our carbon fiber manufacturing. Now, you'll notice across the entire car, the weave matches.
Which is hard to do.
Very difficult to do. And this is true 4-layer pre-preg aerospace grade carbon fiber. So this is not chipped carbon fiber. This is not wet lay. This is the real deal. The entire body can actually be taken off the car in about 45 minutes. Once we disconnect all the external pieces, the body, the doors, the hood, everything weigh 88 pounds. The entire car completed, and a lot of it I believe we put to the stiffness of the chassis and the chromoly. The entire car completed is 2,500 pounds. So as you mentioned, 900 horse, 2,500 pounds, it's a rocket ship.
That's a lot of car, yeah.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the instances where they might want to be able to take off the body, for example? Because 45 minutes is an insane amount of time.
Pretty easy. So if you did choose to campaign this car, taking off the body, you'd have full access to all the mechanicals. We also have clients, we've had clients who've asked us for extra bodies. So they may want to have one paint scheme on one body, another paint scheme on another, hang one in your living room, in your garage, kind of all goes at this price point.
So before we start diving to the details of this car, what are some of the other options? Because you sort of mentioned how they can customize this car, right? What are some of the things that can be changed, I guess, to the body specifically for the carbon fiber? So
the main thing that we do for customization is the stripe colors. This one, we actually just put vinyl stripes on there, matching one of our clients here locally who has been a gracious host for us on this promotional tour. Typically, these stripes are all painted in. Now, with this Diamond Edition Cobra, we're going to take your stripe color. All of the CNC billet emblems are going to be hard anodized in matching color. If you come around here, all of the stitching on the interior is going to be matching your color. The gauges, the client for our number 2 vehicle, we actually did a House of Color metallic candy apple. So we had the manufacturer of the gauges send us all the dials and the bezels. We painted them in the exact matching metallic candy and sent it back for them to manufacture the gauges. So gauges, brake calipers, stitching, all the billet emblems, everything will be in that complementary color.
Right, which painted from the same batch means it's basically guaranteed to match.
It's perfect,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get to, I guess, the details, right? So we talked about the body, and let's pretend we removed it. There's a perfectly good example of what that might look like underneath.
Step over here to the chassis. So this is our first production chassis, and right before we came out on the promotional tour, we're in process of doing the tin out work. Power plant in this is a supercharged Ford Racing Aluminator SC. So for those of you who don't know, that is the low compression, forged internal, hand-built Ford Racing Gen 3. We've topped it with a VMP supercharger. Right now, I believe we're running about 18 pounds of boost. So we're right about 900 crank horsepower.
Okay, so there's probably room on the table then if you're running 18 pounds.
We can turn up the boost a little bit more if we wanted to. But once you get a ride out on the road, you'll understand This might almost be enough.
Oh yeah, well I mean the car weighs 2,500 pounds,
2,500
right? So
pounds.
putting the power down is already a heck of a challenge in itself for what this car
Absolutely.
is.
And this is actually a set of our Mustang roller tires to make this a roller, but on the production cars and on the prototype, we've actually got a 12-inch wide, so a 335 3018. So 12-inch wide rears, the fronts are at 295 3018. So that's a 10-inch wide front tire.
So obviously that's the mechanical grip, but you guys are adding a few different things that are going to go into the production cars, right?
Yes.
To help with that?
So prototype car was built with a Ford control pack system. For the production cars, we're going to use Motec, so we can do multi-stage power modes and traction control.
Which is good, because that is a ton of power. I'm sure more than most people have handled, right?
Absolutely.
So.
And with as light as this car is, it's even more brutal than it sounds.
Okay, so we've got the powertrain. What is that paired with here in the middle?
So paired to the back, we've got a TREMEC T56, close ratio with a dual disc ram clutch, tilt and hydraulics. Obviously everything's hydraulic on this. We actually had a custom drive shaft made for the prototype. It's actually a CV drive shaft. So it's all of about that long and handles quite a bit of power. Feeding back, if you come around this way, you can kind of see a little bit back there, running a strange Ford 9-inch independent third member with obviously very high horsepower axles. So we're independent front and rear. Braking on this is being done by a bare 6-piston front with 14-inch inch and a quarter rotors, 13-inch rear, 4 pistons. It is manual brakes, obviously very, very tight on spacing, as you'll see under the hood, to be able to fit any kind of power boost. But it's a machine.
And then this has power steering, correct?
Yes, it does have power steering.
Is it e-pass or?
No, it is hydraulic power steering.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
So that should help.
Fabricated brackets to mount a Coyote power steering pump onto those.
Okay, so fully independent suspension. Obviously you have this beautiful cantilever setup in here with a variety of billet components. I mean, even the welds, everything on this is insanely pretty. Like the rear end just kind of blends in because of how pretty the rest of the chassis looks as well, right?
Absolutely. And this is a clean sheet design chassis by Schwartz Performance. Jeff Schwartz has been racing Cobras for
I was going to say, famous name.
Several decades, and obviously finding the limits of that original chassis. So this is his iteration of what can be done, you know, in the Cobra sizing, you know, as his iteration of the perfect Cobra chassis. So.
Yeah, and it looks incredible. It's nice to see even how the roll hoop's actually integrated, so you know that if anything were to happen, that is a structural member of the car.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a structural part of the chassis.
Right.
And then, as you saw, inboard cantilever-mounted coilovers to get the weight off the wheels. The production cars are featuring triple adjustable shocks, so you can dial this in for just about anything you want to do.
And basically any level of camber or otherwise.
Absolutely,
right?
fully adjustable suspension.
Well, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Now, one of the other things that we should probably highlight, maybe should have started with, is the details for the Diamond Edition, the 60th anniversary, right? So let's talk about what makes this car so special and some of those highlights.
All right, well, let's come around here to the Shelby serial badge. So these are all Shelby licensed vehicles.
So CSX Vins.
They are CSX Vins. These actually, because they're a special edition, get a CSX 4000. And this prototype is CSX 4520P for the prototype. So all the cars will be 20 through 30. This badge, obviously all CNC machined. And if you zoom in on that Diamond Edition logo, you'll notice 10 little dots around it. Each one of those dots represents the 10 cars in this series. And depending on which car your number is in the series, if you're car number 4, the fourth, those will actually be diamonds, actual diamonds for the Diamond Edition. And depending on which car yours is in the series, if you're number 4, if you've got blue stripes, you can opt for a larger blue diamond in your location, indicating which number the car is in the series.
Which is an incredibly cool way to help differentiate the cars, other than the CSX VIN name, which I assume will be in the Shelby registry as well.
Absolutely,
right?
Yes. These are all obviously Shelby registered vehicles, just like all of our Mustangs. Other cool stuff, you've got the 60th anniversary series gauges, all the billet emblems front and rear, all carrying that logo as well, and embossed into the seats.
Which is an incredibly cool feature. You don't necessarily see that. Sometimes it's just like a stitched logo or something, but you guys with the extra mile there, right?
We actually put CNC billet. All of the switches for controlling the vehicle, all CNC billet, and those will all be hard anodized, matching the stripe color as well. The interior stitching, obviously this entire interior is custom built for these this series of cars. That will also have matching color stitching.
And they're all going to come with these quilted style seats and everything like that?
Yes.
Okay.
And then if you want to come around to the back.
Hey, that looks an awful lot like the cantilever suspension we saw earlier, but now it's illuminated.
Now it's illuminated behind a nice Lexan window that'll be removable on the production models for adjustment.
That's a pretty cool party trick if you go to a car show. That another way to help the car stand out as if a carbon fiber body is not enough.
Absolutely, and we've talked about as well matching that to your stripe color as well. So with this vehicle, it'd be blue illumination.
Yeah, so I also want to make sure that we point out some of the differences between the prototype car and some of the stuff that you guys are going to change for the street cars, right?
Absolutely.
So currently we can see that a lot of it is still very bare underneath, but you guys are planning on powder coating and changing some of that, right?
Yeah, this chassis is still raw. Yeah, chassis is still raw. Everything under the skin of this car has been hand fabricated. There is nothing from a traditional Cobra that crosses over to this vehicle except the exterior trim. So every wire, every piece of plumbing, every bulkhead panel, everything on this car has been hand fabricated. And as we've fabricated all these components, we've catted them out and we're reproducing them for the 10 cars that we're building. But again, this is a very bespoke hand-built vehicle.
Yeah, it is absolutely gorgeous. I mentioned earlier the welds and even some of the details, like I said, the effort to line up the carbon, an insane amount of power. Now, I think we didn't really talk about some of the performance figures. Have you guys ever tested this or just kind of get approximate of what it'll do?
So beyond dyno testing, we've had it out on the track several times, working through suspension tuning. Man, it's so ridiculously fast. I can't even think of.
Would you be willing to wager that it might do? I assume that it'll do over 200 miles per hour. Right?
Now, Cobras aerodynamically
right,
don't like going that fast.
Right.
That's where the Daytonas start coming in.
Right.
But let's just say this will get you up to 180 really quickly.
Yeah, that I definitely believe. So a quick summary of what we've got here is a 900 horsepower carbon fiber 6-speed manual Ford 9-inch rear end, diamonds encrusted into the car. Fully independent suspension, bare disc brakes. I mean, what's not to like, right?
Well, and then we get under the hood.
Yeah.
So, and keep in mind, everything in here has been hand fabricated. All the tanks, intercooler tanks. This features a true degas cooling system, just like you'd have on a modern Coyote. Everything under here set hand fabricated for this project. Obviously a lot to fit in. Believe it or not, we paid a lot of attention to the scales as we built this car, so we are pretty darn close to a 50-50 weight ratio.
That's incredible. So again, if kind of talked a little bit about potentially taking it on the track, that's just one more thing.
Absolutely,
that aids that
balance on the
experience.
vehicle. It's been corner balanced.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes.
And then obviously this is one of the biggest engines I think I've ever seen in the Cobra ever. And so to make this clear, you guys had to add this hood scoop as well,
We
right?
actually took the original hood scoop and fabricated this to clear the supercharger, matched the dimensions, the slope, the shape of the original Cobra hood exactly, just augmented. We did not, obviously the Cobra is an iconic vehicle. We did not want to do anything to change the visual of the Cobra. We did not want you to be able to look at this hood and realize that it had been changed. So if you want to look on the side of it, again, that profile is exactly what it would be on a traditional Cobra hood scoop, just considerably larger.
And total dimensions of this car are basically identical to the original cars, right?
We actually started with a CSX 6000, disassembled the vehicle, 3D scanned everything, worked with our carbon fiber manufacturer to make all the molds, and ended up with this beautiful piece.
And what a beauty it is. I mean, both this form and even seeing it without the body is obviously just cool to see the engineering, all the rigidity that goes into it, the work craftsmanship, I should say, to build something like this. Is there anything else that I think we could cover just about everything on this car, right? Everything that's left is to start it up and take it for a drive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's the best place if somebody's interested in ordering one of these, or maybe even checking out some of the other cars you guys got? You guys have all sorts of carbon fiber goodies, right? What's the best place to reach out to you guys, etc.?
You can reach us at classic-recreations.com, obviously through our website, our Instagram, Facebook, and we only have 8 allocations left for the 60th anniversary Cobras, and we're out here promoting them in Southern California, so they're going to go quickly.
Great. With that, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you very much, Sean. This is an incredible car to look at, and if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and consider getting subscribed for more content like this in the future. With that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.